And then she started in with the comments about her being the sainted mother. I should have ran for the hills, people. Y'all are a bunch of nosy little bitches and you want to know why we're no contact with my mother-in-law. Well, buckle the fuck up. This is going to be a bumpy ride, a long story. You're going to need snacks. Let's go. I am going to start at the beginning back in March of 2012 because it's very significant in my mother-in-law's life. It's not nearly as significant to my husband and I. It's just when we started dating. But to her, she views that date as the date that she and her son broke up, because she describes their change of relationship, him getting a girlfriend, as a breakup for her. And she says it's the worst breakup she's ever gone through in her life. And I will try to give you the facts that are as unbiased as possible. I will try to take you through what happened every step of the way. It's a long ass story because it occurred from 2012 until, I don't know, like 2 years ago. We haven't talked to her in years. But in March of 2012, my husband and I started dating. We met freshman year of college. He lived across the hall. He was interested in me for a while, but I was not interested in him because he kept breaking up with all the girls that he would date after just a few weeks. And your girl was not getting broken up with, that's for sure. So I told him no for a full week. And then finally I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll date you. You're cute. In the beginning of freshman year, he would call his mom on the phone every night and they would chit chat about his day. And she would call him every night. And if he didn't answer, she would keep calling and calling and calling. And finally he would answer. So he just got into the routine of just like answering the call, talking to her every night on the phone. Well, then he had friends and he was studying and he would go to the gym and he had girlfriends and he joined the rugby team. And then he met me. And he stopped calling her every night and he stopped answering the calls every night because he was busy. He was an 18-year-old college kid who was trying to like do college. And this did not make his mom very happy. So initially she did not like me. She did not like the fact that he was not calling her and he was giving attention that was for her to somebody else. So, and instantly I was not on the in with her. In the very beginning, she did not vocalize her feelings, at least to me, about me. That came later. But shortly after we started dating, in May of 2012, we went back home after college ended for the semester, and I went back to my small town, and my husband went back to live with his parents and to be like a tile helper with his dad, because his dad was a stonemason. And my husband did not have a driver's license at this time, which I, now looking back on, I'm like, it was probably like a sense of control thing, because he never needed a driver's license because his mom would drive him places. Like, I don't know where the logic was that he would never need one, but he ended up getting a driver's license when we started dating. And he had to come and visit me up in Tawas, 3.5 hours away, so that his dad didn't have to drive him up to see me, see his college girlfriend. That's just like too much. We would Skype often because we were young and in love and we wanted to talk on the phone all the time. And one day his mom decides to come barging into his room, crying, yelling that she will never like Jessica. There is nothing that you can do to make me like her. I don't like her. I will never accept her. Jessica's just used to everybody liking her, and I am the person who doesn't like her, and she's just going to have to get over that, and she's just going to have to accept that. And I'm like, okay, does she know I can hear this? And I don't know if she knew that I could hear it or not. I assume she knew because she could hear me talking. So I assume she knew I could hear her talking when she was doing this. But I was like, this is really uncomfortable now for me to go around them because now I know she doesn't like me. But we went back to college in that fall and they would invite us over for barbecues or get-togethers, and everything was fine until like my husband and father-in-law would leave the room, because the second that they would leave the room, she would make snide comments to me when they would walk out of the room. It started with things like my nail polish being painted like blue or green and her being like, you know, you shouldn't have your nails painted any other color than it's naturally occurring in the body. It should only be pink or red. And then like my husband and father-in-law would walk back in the room and everything would seem fine to them because they didn't know that she's like making these remarks to me. She did the same thing about me wearing like crazy colored socks, that I should only wear pink and white socks because those are colors that are naturally occurring in the body. And I'm like, okay, this is just weird. And I told my husband about it afterwards, but it was like, it wasn't like mean. It was just weird, right? Like I was just being put in a weird position where she's like telling me things I should and shouldn't be doing, like what color lipstick I should be wearing, what color nail polish I should be wearing, what color socks I should be wearing. It's just strange, but like, okay, otherwise she seems fine. And then she started in with the comments about her being the sainted mother. And I'm not joking. That's how she refers to herself, like all of the time. She signs her text messages that way. When she would write us nasty hate letters, that's how they would be signed, like the sainted mother. So I would be in the room with her and my husband and father-in-law would go, and get something, or somehow I would be left alone in the room with her, and she would tell me things like, you must always respect the mother. The mother is the most important in a man's life. Respect the sainted mother. And then my husband and father-in-law would come back in the room and she'd be like, right, Jessica? And like they don't hear the part of her being like weird to me and like telling me that I need to respect her and that she's the sainted mother and she's the most important person in my husband's life. And at this point, we're just dating. Like we are just dating. I am like 19 years old. This is weird. I should have ran for the hills, people. I didn't. He's cute. I'm sorry. Now I have two beautiful babies by him. I can't help it. Sadly, this is just the very first part. Things get weirder. Things get strange. Things get out of hand in so many ways. And I'm remembering things right now that I don't think I've ever told you about. Let me organize my thoughts and I'll be back for part 2.